Now we're down to another essential of playing defensive back, and that's press man. That's press man, okay? So when you're playing press man, and this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, what I'm about to say, but it's okay. You'll be all right, all right? The number one goal. Okay, let's see if it come up here. Bam. Okay, here we go. Want to show technique. That's focus. I put that up there for focus. One of the best to ever do it here at Michigan State. Jim Thorpe Award winner, Darquez Denard, but he's playing press man. And look at those eyes. Looking right at the hip. He's looking right at what he's supposed to be looking at. He ain't looking at the head and shoulders. He ain't looking at the feet. I'm locked in on the hip. Because where the hip goes, he goes. Where the hip goes, he goes. All right? Here we go. Press man. The goal, this is why I said it might mess some of you guys up, is make the receiver run around the T. That's the goal. That's the goal. Coaches out there, y'all probably throwing at your screen right now, throwing apples and oranges at the screen, but the goal is to make them run around the T, not to get my hands on them. That might hurt somebody. The goal is to make them run around the T. The goal is to make them run around the T, all right? If they run around the T, you've already caused them to, boom. Timing is already thrown off. Why make them run around the T? It throws off timing. And the purpose of press is to throw off timing. When receivers and quarterbacks go out in the summertime, when the receivers and quarterbacks go out in the summertime, they just go out there as it's them. And the receiver runs straight down the field, quarterback sets up, throws them the ball, it's all timing. Now all of a sudden, they get to camp or they get one-on-ones and they got a DB in front of them that knows how to play press technique, okay? Now the guy that's going to sit there and open the gate and he can run straight where you were just standing. That's just like what they've been doing in the summer all along. A guy that's going to sit there and stay square. He's going to stay square and make them run around the T, all right? They run around the T, I can run and cut them off and play them like I need to play them. All right. If they want to try to, a real good receiver going to try to say, no, I know you're trying to make me run around the T. I'm going to go as straight as I can, even if you stay square. So now that's when you got to put hands on them. All right. So running around the T, they're not near your house. They on the perimeter of your house. They ain't no problem. Now when they try to go through the T, they're trying to come through your crib. All right. Now you got to put hands on them. All right. And when you put hands on them, you're going to offhand jam. If he goes this way, I'm offhand jamming with my thumb up. Thumb up for power, aiming for the near pec, aiming for that near pec. Bam, offhand jam. If my thumb is down, it's going to collapse my elbow and I have no power. My thumb is up, I got power. And I got to be have a base. So I'm here, I got a base. I'm always going to have a base and power. I have no power punching crossed over. I might as well not even bring the punch. If I'm running like this or running sideways, there is no power. Nobody squats like this. But you do squats like this, right? You got a base. So if you got a base, boom, you can bring it and punch it and get it done. Thumb is up, aiming for the near pec. Thumb is up, aiming for the near pec. I'm going to talk through some of this stuff before we start showing some of this film as well. If I get an outside release, okay, ball's in there, I get an outside release. The main thing is to stay on top. I want to stay on top. I'm talking more man-free right now. I'm talking man-free, okay, which a lot of people play. Cover one, whatever your man-free you call it. Man-free, okay? So outside release, I've stayed square. However you stay square, I made him run around the T or I forced him around the T, and then I'm going to stay on top of him. I'm going to stay on top. The route that I have the whole stadium deflated or cheering, depending on what side you on, okay, is the 9-ball, deep ball, the bomb, okay? All right? And how do they get the bomb, the 9-ball, the deep ball on us? By getting on top of us on outside release. Outside release. So we got to stay out. We got to stay on top of them, all right? And use the sideline as our friend. That's the only way you stop that thing. Be it a back shoulder, deep ball, they throw it back shoulder. If I'm on top, I can play back through him for the ball, okay? Or if they're going to launch it, I'm still on top, judging his speed and his demeanor. I might have to do traditional, get my shoulder in his chest, cut him off in phase, and look for the ball that way. All right? So we're going to show you some different examples of them things, but you want to stay on top on outside release. So what if they run a little hitch or a little stop route or whatever it may be on the outside release? A lot of times you can come back and break them up as well. I'll show you some of that as well. But the best way to do it is from top down. It's from top down. That deep ball, man, that can mess a lot of people up. Okay, it can mess a lot of people up. On inside release, talking man free. On inside release, there's two things that we'll do. All right. If the receiver releases inside and he goes inside what we call the honey, halfway between the hash and the top of the numbers. If he goes inside that honey, I can do what we call drop low. Okay. And when I drop low, I'm going to be a man outside of the guy, outside of the receiver, and almost, not quite, almost an arm's length apart. I'm a man outside, arm length apart, reading that hip. I can drop low on inside release because I have all kind of help in the inside. I have what we call a plugger, and I have a deep middle of the field safety. So that's why I can drop low when he goes inside the honey when I'm in man free. If he doesn't get inside that honey and he inside releases, I got to do what we call shoulder him. I got to stay right by him, side by side. I cannot drop low because I don't want him to stack me and get back on top of me and they throw the ball for a deep ball on us that way, if that makes sense. All right, so here we go. How do you stay square? How do you stay square? So here's one of the ways that you can stay square. We say step, 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 step. Here's a drill. So the main thing is to stay square because you want to make them run around the tee. How do you make them run around the tee? By staying square. By staying square. Boom. So I'm staying square. I'm mirror, 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 like that. Step, 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 step. Staying square, staying square, staying square. Another way that guys will do it, they'll motor. They'll motor back, motor back, motor back. All right. The key is to stay square. Do not backpedal though. Don't backpedal on it. Don't backpedal. All right. Even the motor is real slow, like I'm doing right here in this room right now. All right. Are you going to step, step and mirror with him, depending on what he does? Boom, and offhand jam. Right there. There it is. So now you add the release to it. Step, 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 offhand jam. All right. And he wasn't quite running around the tee. Boom, I got to force him around the tee and stay on top. Notice he's on top. He's on top. Yes, sir. And that's where you want to stay on the outside release. All right. Here's staying on top drill that we'll do as well. All right, so now he's already outside released. We're down the field, 10, 15 yards down the field. That's what we're simulating. That's what we're simulating. And he's already on top, right? He's on top. He's staying on top. Boom, on top, boom. They run a stop route, I'm right on it. No problem, no problem. They stutter go, I can stutter go with him, but I'm on top. That's a good finish. He didn't stare back at the ball, he throw back, now boom. Good finish, all right? Simulate, I'm on top. Again, they're already 10, 15, 20 yards down the field. I'm on top. Boom. He started to go. He started, then he sits down to come back again. Boom. I'm on top. Come back. They catch that. Nobody cares. Even offensive coordinators get bored and quarterbacks get bored. Receivers get bored. We're catching hitches and stop routes. They want the deep ball. That's where all the glory is. They want the deep ball. So as long as we stay patient, okay, so they catch one of these or two of these, all right? It's still a tight window. It's on the sideline. We right there. We make the immediate tackle. And if we make enough rough tackles on them, they don't want to catch them either. So, we put some pain on them a little bit, then we all right anyway. All right? So this is a stay on top drill, outside release. Say that you got an outside release and press technique. And I'm staying on top. Staying on top, boom. Drive back down, bam. Staying on top. On top, boom. Start to go. All right, stay on top. Stay on top with it, bam, and then come back and finish it. That's how we want to do it. That's how we want to do it. Pretty, boom. Read them and finish it. Everybody got that? So that's outside release, staying on top, giving you a couple drills that you can do. All right, the first thing was staying square, and we did step, 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 and then they step, step, and released, and we stayed on top on the outside release, all right? And then we actually showed you staying on top down the field, a drill for that. Can't give you everything. And then the next thing is a inside release. Inside release, and he goes inside the honey. And we said that's when you can drop low, what we call drop low, all right? So here we go. This is similar. This is the receiver. This is the defender right there, the DB. This receiver has already ran inside the honey. We said the honey is halfway between the top of the numbers and the hash. He's clearly inside the honey because he's right on top of the hash. He's dropped low now. So he's a man outside of him and up, almost an arm length apart from him, not too far. Arm length, right there, okay? Reading his hip. That's the hip he's reading. You never want to get stacked right behind the guy. Oh, that's a bad place to be. All my help, remember, is in the middle of the field. I got a deep middle of the field safety. I got a plugger in the middle of the field. So I'm protecting the outside, all right? So I'm reading his hip. I'm reading this to read the hip drill. This guy will run down 5 or 10 yards, and he'll run. If he runs a 7 route, boom. I got to burst and catch up to him and play back through him for the ball. Not the traditional get my shoulder in his chest deal, because he can keep fading away from me if I do that. If I burst and run and get on top of him, I can watch this. I run, now play back through him for the ball. Now he can't fade away from me. I know where he is, and I can play through him for the ball and make a play on the ball. All right. I used to teach where you turn the other way, but I start seeing where receivers will start fading away and the quarterback throw it away, and I lose them and can't find them, and that's problems. But if I can burst and catch him and then play back through him, I can make a play on the ball and know where he is. All right. So they can run up and run a 7 route. They can run up and go up and run a dig. Go up to 10, boom, 5, and dig. We undercut digs. Look at his eyes on the hip. Eyes on the hip. As a coach, you're saying, where's his eyes? Where are your eyes right now? Eyes are on that hip. Eyes are on that hip. I'm a man outside. Eyes on that hip. Boom. Undercut a dig, drive, then find the ball. What a lot of guys will do out of that break right there, they'll stare back at the quarterback. That's still a form of out of phase. So that quarterback can still lead him and catch the ball. You got to drive, then find the ball. Everybody see that? You got to drive, then find the ball. So I'm reading it, undercut the dig, drive, find the ball. Bam, right there. So I gave you a 7 route and I gave you a dig, okay? On a post, we still say drive to this upfield shoulder, even though you got midfield help. You don't undercut a post, okay? Everybody got that? So those are those. That might be it. It is, okay? Here we go. So down here at the bottom, we're going to get an outside release. And we said on outside release, we want to stay on top. Outside release, we want to stay on top, all right? The main thing is to make them run around the tee. Make them run around the tee. You put hands on them if they're trying to run through your tee. Otherwise, you just go run and cut them off at the hypotenuse, right? Bam. Not great technique at the line, to be honest with you. Boom. I don't know if he quite ran around the tee that much, but he's on top. He cuts him off. He gets his shoulder in his chest and squeezes him to the sideline. Interception. Interception. All right. Back to the ball skills, right? Back to the ball skills. All right. So outside release, he stayed on top. Boom. He squeezed him to the sideline by putting his shoulder in his chest, and we get an interception. And the ultimate thing is to catch the ball. We want the high point it, but the ultimate thing is to catch it, right? Okay? Here we go, another one. I think we got up top. Okay, now we're going to go inside release. That's what this one is, okay? Inside release. And he's dropping low right there. It really is more shoulder because he's in the honey. He's in the honey. So he's not quite inside the honey. He's right outside the honey. So he's going to shoulder the guy, He's going to shoulder him. So it's hard. You can't undercut the dig on the shoulder and the guy in the seam. He will round up and be on top because he isn't quite inside the honey, which is halfway between the numbers and the hash. So he had the shoulder. This is a shoulder one. I'm sorry. Shoulder him in the seam. Shoulder him in the seam. Good job. Good job. Okay? Up top, okay? He tried to go through my tee a little bit, so I had to force him around the tee. I'm on top, and they're running a little hitch deal, all right? And I can still make a play on the hitch. Look at that. I can still make, and I'm on top of the guy. I'm planning from top down. I can still make a play on the hitch. Yes, sir. Don't put this one on here, Woody. I don't like that score. See that score on it? Hey, don't put that on there. I thought I took it out, matter of fact, but keep it moving. All right, here's another one. Here we go. Press man technique. Again, stay square. The goal is to make them run around the tee. Outside release, stay on top. Inside release, inside the honey, drop low. Not inside the honey, shoulder them in the seam. Shoulder them in the seam, okay? Here's one up top. I wanted to go where I think the guy almost got inside the honey area. So he started to drop low and undercut the dig. Undercut the dig. But notice out the break where his eyes are. Drive first before you look back. Drive. Don't just stare back right there. If he drove first, then look, might have to pick. All right? But you want to get him inside the honey, undercut the dig. And undercut the dig.